Happy Tuesday, but supposed to be Monday, everybody. And I'm even gonna reverse that because I'm not a fan of supposed to. It then comes from a place of judgment. But I do usually get these videos out on Mondays for my bi weekly Monday newsletter. And as I'm sitting in the gym, getting my leg workout and not particularly loving it, but doing it anyway, I thought to myself, oh yeah, yesterday was your newsletter that you didn't put out. So here I am. Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning in for this unexpected Tuesday edition of my newsletter. Yesterday, I was traveling on a train back from New York City and actually working from the train, which is super cool. I just have to tell you the fact that I've created a life in which I can work from anywhere continues to remind me why I put in the hard work and stay dedicated, even during the moments that feel really hard, which, as a business owner and somebody who works in addiction and mental health recovery, I can tell you there are hard moments. But what I want to talk to you guys today about is tuning out the noise and what can happen when we forget to tune out the noise. And all of this stems from a personal experience I had this weekend in New York City. I have 4 clients in Harlem, and I've worked with all of them for different amounts of times, but every single one of them for a year or more. So really close connection to these individuals. And because I was in New York City and Nana, my significant other, was off doing his anime convention, I thought, what better time than to go connect with these beautiful souls. Not being in Harlem before, I didn't think much of it. I planned on taking the train in, no worries. Until people who love me very much started whispering in my ear, "Oh, Carrie, you don't know New York. You got to be careful. You're going into Harlem. You got to make sure you're safe." All of these things. And I had to stop and I had to discern, which is something I'm amazing at doing, trusting myself, not listening to the outside noise. And I got quiet and I knew without hesitation, one, I had nothing to fear, and two, I would be guided along the way. I would have no problem finding my destinations, making it to where I was excited to go, and getting to connect with people who I've worked with for so long and I wanted to hug. And that's just what happened. Jumped on the train, did my thing, met some incredible people, got to walk down the streets of Harlem connecting with individuals, went to an African street market, which was incredible. And I was just happy and in my glory. Made my way back home. Everything was beautiful because I trusted my intuition and I always nurture myself. I stop and I listen and I really honor where my body is, right? Fast forward 2 days. Went into Harlem again to help a particular client with some stuff and got lost in the sauce of support. Was super entrenched in navigating what we were working through, and I didn't listen to my body when it needed to take breaks. I didn't drink the water, I didn't stretch, I just kept going, and I convinced myself that in the interest of being here for a limited amount of time, I just needed to power through and get the thing done. So eventually it came time to make my way back to the train station, which is like 10 blocks away, and head home. But my energy was depleted, guys. I hadn't listened to myself, and so my ability to discern, my ability to listen and to just kind of know, it's like a guide, your internal guide, I was not tapped into. And so homegirl got lost on the streets of Harlem on Sunday night. And I was like, oh, dang. Okay. And I took it as a lesson, right? I really did. It wasn't that I was hard on myself. I was like, well, I'm be Ubering back into Times Square because I have no idea where I am. And so I did. And in the process, I had a beautiful conversation with a Nigerian man about his family and life, and the ride was beautiful. But as I got home to the hotel, I had a really hard time regulating my emotions. I was just emotional, right? I had an amazing day, connected with people I wanted to connect with, was able to show up and serve in a really profound and meaningful way. Why am I emotional? Well, the reality is I didn't stop to honor myself. I didn't take part in the practices that I know are in my highest good so that I can maintain peace while working with people who may struggle to get there sometimes. And so I had to stop and ask myself, what is it I'm meant to learn? And it's that I lose the ability to really be guided in a place, from a place of peace, from a place of empowerment, from a place of love, when I don't take moments to nurture myself. And when I'm depleted, what happens is outside noise starts to filter in, and I start to take on other people's fears. Oh, you're lost in Harlem. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, whatever the case is, we all hear different stories based on the people who love us and have really good intentions but are coming from their own fears, or just your own internal chatter, right? I've been combating and doing this work for many years, but the reality is I have internal chatter that has been embedded in my psyche since I was born. And so when I'm not at my best, when I haven't nurtured and cared for myself, when I am depleted, I am less aware of that cycle, and I can spiral into fear. And that's what happened. That's why I got lost. And I know unequivocally, had I nurtured myself throughout the day, I would have been better equipped to navigate the streets of Harlem. I wouldn't have thought twice about where I needed to go, but because I wasn't 100%, I didn't do that. So, the lesson that I'm really hoping to impart, or at least get you to consider, is this. First, have you cultivated self-trust in yourself? Can you say you trust yourself implicitly outside of anybody's external ideology, thoughts, beliefs, ways that they think that you should be or how you should act, or what needs to happen for you to be successful, to be safe, to be cared for? Do you trust yourself? And if you don't, it's okay. Just asking yourself the question and being aware has so much impact, because then you can start to make tiny, tiny shifts so that you can learn to trust yourself. And then if the answer is, yeah, I trust myself, are you able to listen to your internal voice when you're being called to nurture yourself, when you're being called to take a break from that project that is your passion but has depleted your energy, that you need to reset, regroup, recharge? Do you have the ability to recognize when to ask for help, when to say, "Up, I'm lost in Harlem. I need you to call me an Uber because I ain't making it back to the train station"? Do you trust yourself enough to try new things, knowing that you'll land okay? And if you do you try new things? Because the reality is, guys, when you trust yourself, heading into Harlem, heading into Brooklyn, heading into wherever to support, to serve, isn't a big deal, because you know you're guided and you are safe along the way. You have the ability to make choices that will always keep you in a place of love and peace and safety. I think I just lost that. Okay, well, it's kept recording, guys. My screen went blank, so I looked very confused. But you know what? That's way it goes sometimes. So, um, if you have worked to cultivate yourself, can you or do you discern? Do you listen to yourself? And I think, the answer for anybody who trusts themselves is of course. And yet, like me, we lose sight of that sometimes, and we need that contrast. We need reminders. We need getting lost in Harlem to remind ourselves to take care of ourselves. We also need reminders from outside sources to say, hey, don't go into Harlem. Don't get on the train station. You don't know where you're going. And for us to tell ourselves, you know what? I know I got this. I know I can do this. And doing the thing. So that way we can continue to cultivate that self-trust, that discernment, that wisdom. And in doing that, we also are teaching other people that they have the ability to trust themselves. That really, at the end of the day, the person you want to most lean into is yourself. So if you were struggling to trust yourself, ask yourself why. And then take small steps, trying something new, trying something brave. Even if it's super small, like starting working out or going for a walk or meeting a new friend. And if you do trust yourself, are you able to pause and listen even more deeply to what your needs are and what you need in any given moment? So that way you are always in a place of knowing, of peace, of love. Yeah. That's where I strive to be at all times. And hey, I'm human. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But all of it is a gift to me, because when I forget to trust myself and nurture myself, I am always provided with gifts to get me back on track. I very much appreciate you guys for showing up, pressing play, and listening to my own journey through this incredibly interesting life that we all lead. And I look forward to coming back in 2 weeks on Monday when I made a commitment to do so, and inspiring, hopefully making you laugh, and sharing in my own journey in the hopes and that you gain something from it. If nothing else, laughter, wisdom, insight, or just a new perspective.